I'm back again, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial for you guys using some of the products that I feel like that work well for me, and I'm hoping that maybe my tutorial might pass along some ideas for you to try them out. And most of them are very affordable, so hopefully that'll entice you to give some new products a try. We're going to start out first by priming. This primer, I'm not 100% sure how effective it is. It's the Too Faced Primed and Poreless, but it seems like every time I use it, I only use like a little pea-sized amount because it's a little pricey. It's a prestige item at Ulta, and it's a Too Faced product, but I just like to use this little e.l.f. putty primer applicator. It's just really quick and fast and easy. I obviously focus mostly on my cheek area because I do have larger pores in that area. I usually just kind of focus it in this area, and then I just use the excess amount for the whole rest of the face, but I know that I don't have a lot on the brush. But it's a really soft brush, and it's just, to me, it's able to apply it real fast and easy. From there, I'm going to be using today the CATRICE True Skin Hydrating Foundation. I tried this earlier this summer. However, when I did that, I got the wrong color, and then they sold out because Tati had done a review on it. So I'm using Neutral Sand number 30 or 030. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm just going to use a little tiny bit. I don't really want full coverage. That's just not my dealio. So I usually just focus. I'm just using a little stipple brush. This one's really cheap. I got this off of, it's BH Cosmetics, and it's brush 123. It's pretty easy to remember. I used to not like this brush because it's so soft, but I started to like it because it actually applies your foundation really efficiently. And it's good for like a quick, fast, and easy application. And it actually disperses pretty evenly, I feel like. At least that's my experience. And I'm just gonna, like I said, I usually just focus a lot of the product on my cheek area around my nose. And I've really lightened up a lot since the summer. This summer I got really dark. And so this is kind of more of my winter color. One thing I really like about CATRICE's True Skin formula is the foundation. A lot of people online weren't really big fans of it, and I feel like it might have to do with how you're using it. So this is kind of light for my forehead. I've always have a dark forehead. Okay, so I use the color 32 Neutral Biscuit, and I can actually use this concealer as a foundation when I'm in a hurry. So I'm just gonna like focus it mostly in my, like I said, my lower eye area and my cheek area. This kind of gives me the coverage that I don't want my foundation to be heavy. And so this kind of gives you that little oomph. So I just use I love the e.l.f. sponge. I think it's called the concealer sponge. It's really affordable. And I'm just gonna blend this in. My eye area, it tends to be very dark, so this kind of tries to lighten it up and works really well. I don't have oily eyelids, so I can, use a hydrating concealer because it doesn't actually make my eyeshadow crease, and so actually works well for me. Okay, so now I feel like I've got a nice even skin tone, fresh face look without looking too heavy, too cakey. My favorite powder is the Hourglass Veil powder. Now, this isn't very cheap, but I don't use it excessively. So just use a little bit on my sponge just to kind of set everything where it's not going to start to crease in my fine lines. And so I feel like I really only buy one of these powders maybe once a year. Usually can get me through 8 months. And I don't wear makeup every single day, but every time I do apply a concealer or a foundation, just to set it a little bit, I use just that little bit amount, and that way it doesn't get really dry underneath my under eyes, and I get to use a good powder that's, you know, higher end without breaking the bank. From here, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to set my eyeshadow. I'm kind of weird. I use a big brush. I use the MAC 227, and this is just because I don't have a very big eye opening, but I have a huge lid, as you can see. I mean, from here to my eyebrow, it's just one of the blessings and the curses of being Asian. So just gonna go ahead and use my Essence banana powder. And then I just put a little bit more powder underneath my eye. Not the under eye area, but just underneath my actual lash line, just to continue to make sure I have set all that concealer that actually got underneath that eye area. And just go ahead and continue to set that concealer that I used to conceal my eyelids and to prime them. Now we're going to use this new eyeshadow palette I got called 5 in a Box from Catrice. And I saw Tati Westbrook use this. And so, yes, I'm a little bit of a follower. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the lightest color and go ahead and I've never used this before. I just kind of swatched it last night. I've been kind of trying to use mostly mattes lately, but today I'm kind of feeling a little bit inspired. So since I just got this in the mail, I'm just actually going to, looks like this is pretty light. It's still giving me a little bit of color, a little bit of shadow, but I'm going to go ahead and go in for the darker, kind of like a burnt orange. And I always start with my outer lid because I don't want the inner lid to be super dark and not open my eye a little bit more. Just because of how my eyes are shaped, I try to put a lot of the dimension on the outer lid. When it comes to eyeshadow artistry, I'm not really a trailblazer. I'm a mom of 4 kids, and I don't really want to show up to carpool or to pick them up in person and look like, you know, I'm trying to be high-end fashion or too bold with my look. So I'm like you can see, I'm actually using a ColourPop E2 blending brush, and I'm using this one. It's a little more narrow than some of the other brushes I like to use, and I'm just trying to diffuse some of that color to make kind of a big Okay, so I'm back. I got my eyelashes on. And if you are wondering how I do my lashes, you can go ahead and check out my Falscara custom lash tutorial. What I did off camera was go ahead and apply my under lash, my lower lash line shadow using the palette as well. Just went ahead and used a little bit of the dark shadow, or excuse me, the burnt orange and the lighter nudish kind of color. And then I went ahead and used a little bit of the shimmer on the inner part of my eye. This is a beautiful color. I really love, it's a very neat, I know that's kind of a cheesy word to use, but it's a very neat shimmer. It's soft, you can tell it's buttery. It says it's made with rose oil, so I guess that might be part of it. So we're going to go ahead and finish this tutorial up. It's getting kind of long. I know you guys got things to do. I'm going to go ahead and finish up with my favorite bronzer, which is the Butter Bronzer. I use the, it's just 6676 bronzer. And I'm hitting pan, so I need a new one. But how I apply my bronzer is really messy, not very exact at all. I'm not trying to chisel anything. I'm not trying to do a hard contour. I just have a little more conservative approach to makeup. I just want to look a little bit more complimented in my skin and my appearance, so I'm not trying to go overboard. I use the e.l.f. Flawless Face brush. I really love the shape. It kind of reminds me of my more expensive MAC fan brush, but it's a little bit, to me, a little bit more exact because it does, the bristles are a little bit more sparse, so it applies it a lot more sheer without being too dark. One of my last things that I do before I get done is I use the Luxie 514 blush brush. I really love this one. I got it a few years ago. I'm just going to use one of my Catrice blushes. I love this company. I use a lot of their products. It's the Golden Coral color. Coral is my favorite. This has a little bit of a sheen to it. It's very understated, but it is there. But I really feel like it really brings my complements and brings some color, some nice color without being too dark and too overwhelming. And the last thing that I'll do is my Hourglass Ambient Powder. I use the color Luminous Light. One of my favorite brushes that I use is from Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. It's her Morphe collab, and it's the JH06. And I love the way it's shaped. It's kind of shaped in an angle. So I go ahead and use some of this, and I just apply it just right here on my cheekbone and my outer eye, a little bit on my nose, my inner cheek a little bit. And it's just a very understated highlighter without being really overpowering. It is expensive, but I've had this one for years. I want to say 2 years at least. It's not the only highlighter I own, so, and I obviously have not hit pan anywhere near hitting pan. So just think about right now, in the next few weeks, Sephora is doing their holiday sale. So consider checking it out. Now, honestly, I'm not going to be doing a lipstick. I wear Burt's Bees chapstick. I did get a Catrice lip treatment. It was coconut. It's called a coconut lip treatment. I don't know the name of it. I'll have to use that on my next tutorial, give you guys a little heads up on that. Well, thank you guys for joining me on this little quick tutorial using a lot of Catrice products, which are super affordable. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys for coming back to my channel. Don't forget to like, hit the subscribe button, and turn on your notifications.